The colony of Riven's Hope was dying. Explosions tore through the settlement's outer shields as pirate ships circled overhead like vultures. The Kalari people, a peaceful species of blue-skinned, traders huddled in underground bunkers while their world burned above them. Children cried. Adults whispered prayers to gods who seemed not to listen. Elder Tomas stood in the communication center, his 4 arms working frantically across the console. He broadcast the same message over and over into the darkness of space. This is Riven's Hope. We are under attack. Please, anyone. We need help. No one answered. No one ever did. In the galaxy, survival was a personal matter. Species looked after their own, and sometimes not even that. The strong took what they wanted. The weak died quietly. That was the way of things. That was how it had always been. Tomas sent the signal again, knowing it was pointless. Above them, another explosion shook the bunker. Dust fell from the ceiling. A child screamed. "Elder," said his assistant, her voice breaking. "The northern shield just failed. They'll breach the colony in minutes." Tomas closed his eyes. He had lived 70 years. He had seen his children grow, his grandchildren born. Perhaps that was enough. Perhaps the console chirped. Tomas's eyes snapped open. Someone had responded to the distress call. His hands trembled as he opened the channel. Riven's Hope, this is the Human Defense Fleet vessel, Iron Thunder. We have received your distress signal. Hold position. Help is coming. Humans? Tomas had heard of them, the newcomers who had joined galactic society only 50 years ago. Strange beings who asked too many questions and never followed the rules. What could one ship do against 6 pirate vessels? How? How far are you? Tomas asked, his voice barely a whisper. 12 minutes out. Tell your people to stay in the bunkers. We're coming in hot. The channel closed. Tomas stared at the console. 12 minutes. Would they even have 12 minutes? Aboard the Iron Thunder, Captain James Reed stood on the bridge, his jaw set. Around him, his crew moved with practiced efficiency. No panic, no hesitation. They had done this before. Status? Reed asked. 6 ships, pirate configuration, reported Commander Lisa Grant from the tactical station. They're using plasma cannons on the colony shields. Estimate shields will fail in 8 minutes. Then we arrive in 7, Reed said. All hands, battle stations. Load railguns. Charge laser batteries. Prep missile tubes 1 through 12. Sir? Called out Lieutenant Tom Baker from communications. I'm picking up chatter on pirate frequencies. They're monitoring our approach. They know we're coming. Good, Reed said. Let them know. Across the galaxy, species who monitored deep space communications sat up in surprise. The humans were actually responding? 1 ship against 6? The gambling networks lit up with bets. Most predicted the human ship would retreat once they saw the odds. Those people didn't know humans very well. The Iron Thunder had been built in the Mars shipyards, one of humanity's first true warships. She wasn't the biggest vessel in human fleet, but she was fast, heavily armed, and crewed by people who had something the galaxy had forgotten, the willingness to fight for others. Hyperspace exit in 30 seconds, called the navigator. Reed opened the ship-wide channel. Listen up. There are innocent people down there, families, children, people who never hurt anyone. Those pirates think they can take whatever they want because no one will stop them. Today, they learn different. Today, they learned that humanity answers the call. The crew responded with a unified shout. Yes, sir. Exit in 5.4.3.2.1. Space tore open like a wound, and the Iron Thunder burst into real space above. Riven's Hope. The pirate ships were exactly where Tactical had predicted, circling the colony like sharks, their weapons flashing as they pounded the failing shields. Captain Reed sat in his command chair and opened channel to the pirates. This is Captain James Reed of the Human Defense Fleet. You are attacking an unarmed civilian colony. Power down your weapons and retreat immediately, or we will open fire. There was a moment of silence. Then laughter echoed across the channel. One human ship? The pirate leader's voice was harsh, amused. You think you scare us? Go home, monkey. This doesn't concern you. Reed's expression didn't change. You had your chance. He closed the channel and looked at Commander Grant. Fire. The Iron Thunder spoke with thunder. Railguns mounted along her spine launched. Solid metal slugs at a fraction of light speed. The first pirate ship didn't even have time to raise shields. The slug punched through the hull like paper, and the ship detonated in a ball of flame and debris. The galaxy didn't fight like this. Most species used energy weapons, plasma, lasers, particle beams. Slow, predictable, easy to shield against. Humans used everything. Kinetic weapons, nuclear missiles, focused lasers, plasma cannons. They had learned warfare on a world where they had spent thousands of years perfecting the art of killing each other. When they reached the stars, they brought that knowledge with them. Target destroyed, Grant reported. Remaining 5 ships are breaking formation. They're trying to surround us. Let them try, Reed said. Baker, make sure you're recording this. I want every pirate in the sector to see what happens when you threaten innocents. The pirate ships opened fire, their plasma cannons lighting up space. The Iron Thunder's shields flared as they absorbed the impacts. But human shields were different, 2-layered, adaptive, designed to take punishment. Shields at 90%, reported the defense officer. They're barely scratching us. Return fire. Target the ship on our port side. Grant, I want a firing solution for missiles on the 3 ships attempting to flank us. Aye, sir. Solution locked. Fire. Missiles streaked from the Iron Thunder's launch tubes, not the slow, lumbering missiles the galaxy used, but fast, smart weapons that could think, adapt, and hunt. 2 pirate ships tried to shoot them down. They failed. The missiles slipped through their defenses like ghosts and detonated against their hulls. 2 more fireballs joined the debris field. In the bunkers below. The Kalari watched through external cameras, their mouths open in shock. The human ship moved like a dancer spinning, rolling, always keeping its strongest shields toward the enemy, while its weapons never stopped firing. 3 pirate ships remained. Their leader's voice came over the channel again, no longer amused. Cease fire. Cease fire. We're leaving. The 3 ships broke away, their engines burning at maximum, as they tried to escape into hyperspace. Captain Reed's voice was cold. Grant, track them. Don't let them jump. Sir? These pirates attacked civilians. They came here to kill and steal. If we let them go, they'll just do it again somewhere else. Reed leaned forward in his chair. No mercy for those who show none to others. Understood, sir. Tracking. Firing. Long-range missiles launched, their drives pushing them faster and faster. The pirates were almost at jump distance when the missiles caught them. One by one, the 3 ships exploded, their remains scattering across the void. Silence filled the bridge of the Iron Thunder. Then Lieutenant Baker spoke quietly. All hostile ships destroyed, Captain. The colony is secure. Reed nodded slowly. Take us into orbit. Contact the colony. Tell them it's over. Asterisk in the bunkers beneath Riven's Hope. Nobody moved. The explosions had stopped. The ground no longer shook. Elder Tomas stared at the communication console, afraid to believe what the sensors were telling him. All 6 pirate. Ships were gone, destroyed, and the human vessel hung in orbit above them like a silent guardian. The console chirped. Tomas reached for it with trembling hands. Riven's Hope. This is Captain Reed. The threat has been eliminated. We're sending down medical teams and emergency supplies. Are there any immediate casualties that need attention? Tomas tried to speak, but no words came. His assistant touched his arm gently, and he realized tears were running down his face. Captain Reed, he finally managed. You came. You actually came. You called for help. Reed's voice was calm, matter-of-fact. We answered. Now, about those casualties? 43 wounded, Tomas said, his voice steadying. 12 critical. Our medical facility was hit in the first attack. Understood. We're sending down our medical officer and team now. They'll set up a field hospital. We also have engineers who can help repair your shields and power systems. Tomas looked around at the faces in the bunker faces, filled with hope for the first time in hours. Captain ... Why? We have nothing to offer you. No payment. No resources. Why did you risk your ship for us? There was a pause on the line. When Reed spoke again, his voice was quiet but firm. Because it was the right thing to do. Sometimes that's reason enough. 20 minutes later, a human shuttle touched down in the colony's central square. The Kalari emerged slowly from their bunkers, still cautious, still afraid this might be a dream. The shuttle's ramp lowered, and humans in dark blue uniforms descended. They moved with purpose, but without aggression, carrying medical supplies, scanning equipment, and tools. A human with red hair and kind eyes approached Elder Tomas. I'm Dr. Rachel Kim, medical officer. Where are your wounded? Tomas pointed toward the shelter where they had gathered the injured. Rachel nodded and turned to her team. Let's move, people. Critical cases first. The human medical team swept into action. The Kalari doctors watched in amazement as the humans worked. Their equipment was advanced, their methods efficient, and their care genuine. A human medic knelt beside a Kalari child whose arm had been crushed by falling debris, speaking softly to calm the frightened girl while he worked. You're very brave, the medic said. His name tag reading Baker. We're going to fix you right up. Have you ever seen a human before? The child shook her head, eyes wide. Baker smiled. Well, now you have. And I promise we're not as scary as we look. Outside, human engineers led by a man named Marcus were already assessing the damage to the colony's shield generator. Marcus ran his scanner over the burnt-out circuits and shook his head. This is old tech, he said to the Kalari engineer beside him. Really old. You've been running this thing past its service life. The Kalari engineer, a young male named Kel, nodded sadly. We cannot afford new parts. The trade routes rarely come here anymore. Marcus looked at him thoughtfully. How would you feel about an upgrade? We've got spare parts on the Iron Thunder that are compatible. We could modernize this system, make it stronger, more efficient. We ... We cannot pay for such things, Kel said quietly. Did I ask for payment? Marcus grinned. Come on, let's get to work. I'll show you how human engineering works. Thousands of light years away, in the Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council, an emergency session had been called. Ambassador Vorn, a tall reptilian being representing the Sarkathy Collective, stood before the assembled delegates. His scales rippled with agitation as he spoke. This is the 5th incident in 3 standard months, Vorn said, his voice echoing through the chamber. 5 times, human vessels have responded to distress calls from colonies they have no connection to. 5 times, they have engaged hostile forces without authorization from this council. They destroyed 6 ships today, added Councilor Mira. A crystalline being who shimmered under the chamber lights. 6. One human vessel eliminated 6 pirate ships in less than 10 minutes. That kind of combat efficiency is ... disturbing. What disturbs me more, said another counselor, is their motivation. They gain nothing from these actions. No territory. No resources. No political advantage. Why do they do it? Vorin pulled up a holographic recording from Riven's Hope, the conversation between Captain Reed and Elder Tomas. The council watched in silence as Reed's words played. Because it was the right thing to do. This is not how civilized species behave, Vorin said. We have rules, protocols, non-interference policies. The humans ignore all of it. Perhaps, said an elderly voice from the back of the chamber, we should ask ourselves why we have such rules in the first place. The speaker was Counselor Thane, one of the oldest members of the council, representing a species that had been spacefaring for over 10,000 years. He stood slowly, his 3 eyes fixed on Vorin. When did we become so cold? Thane continued. There was a time when species helped each other, when we believed the strong should protect the weak. The humans remind us of what we used to be before we became. Comfortable? Comfortable? Vorin's scales flushed dark red. We are realistic. Resources are limited. Every species must look after its own interests. That is survival. And yet, Thane said softly, the humans survive quite well while helping others. Perhaps there is more than one path to survival. The chamber erupted in argument. Some counselors agreed with Vorin the humans were dangerous, unpredictable, a threat to galactic stability. Others, like Thane, wondered if perhaps humanity had something to teach them. The debate would continue for hours. But it didn't matter. The humans weren't asking for permission. Back on Riven's Hope, night had fallen. The colony's lights glowed softly under a sky now protected by freshly repaired shields. In the makeshift hospital, all 43 wounded had been treated. The 12 critical cases were stable, resting under the care of human medical staff who refused to leave until they were certain everyone would recover. Captain Reed walked through the colony square with Elder Tomas, observing the repair work. Human engineers worked alongside Kalari workers, their voices mixing as they shared techniques and stories. Your people are remarkable, Tomas said. They work as if this were their own home. In a way it is, Reed replied. We're all living in the same galaxy. When we help you, we help ourselves, we make the galaxy a safer place for everyone. The other species don't think that way. Reed smiled slightly. We noticed. Earth was like that once, too. Divided, competitive. We nearly destroyed ourselves before we learned that cooperation isn't weakness, it's strength. They reached the colony's memorial garden, where the Kalari honored their dead. Tomas gestured to the newest addition's names, carved into stone for those who had died in previous pirate raids. For 20 years, we sent distress calls, Tomas said quietly. 20 years of attacks, and no one came. We thought the galaxy had no heroes left. He turned to Reed, his eyes glistening. Thank you for proving us wrong. Reed placed a hand on the elder's shoulder. We're not heroes, Elder Tomas. We're just people who believe everyone deserves a chance to live in peace. And we're not going anywhere until we're sure you're safe. How long will you stay? As long as it takes. I've already sent word to command. They're sending a patrol route through this sector. From now on, a human ship will pass through here every week. If anyone threatens you again, Reed's expression hardened. They'll learn what we taught those pirates. Asterisk, in the following days, word of what happened at Riven's Hope spread across the galaxy like wildfire. On every civilized world, on every space station and trade hub, people whispered about the humans who had answered a stranger's call. In the darker corners of space. In pirate havens and slaver ports, a different conversation was happening. Captains who had terrorized unprotected colonies for decades suddenly found themselves looking over their shoulders. The message was clear. The galaxy had changed. There was a new force out there, and it didn't ignore cries for help. Some pirates decided to find new lines of work. Others, arrogant and foolish, decided the humans had just been lucky. Those pirates would learn their mistakes soon enough. On the Iron Thunder, as the ship prepared to depart Ridden's Hope, Lieutenant Baker approached Captain Reed on the bridge. "Sir, we're receiving multiple distress signals from across the sector. Looks like word got out that humans actually respond to these things." Reed looked at the display showing 15 different emergency calls, colonies under attack, ships stranded in dead space, stations facing equipment failures. 15 groups of people who had given up hope, now daring to believe again. Asterisk, how many ships do we have in this sector? Reed asked. "Just us, sir. The Storm Runner is 3 days out, and the Pacific Dawn is on patrol near the core worlds. Then we'd better get moving." Reed turned to his crew. "Plot a course to the nearest signal. Maximum speed. And someone contact command. Tell them we need more ships out here." Commander Grant looked up from her station. "Sir, we can't answer all these calls." "Not alone." Reed smiled. "No, we can't. But we can answer one. Then another. Then another. We keep going until help arrives, or until there's no one left who needs us." He sat in his command chair and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, people were afraid, desperate, calling into the void, hoping someone would hear them. Humanity would hear them. Humanity would answer. That was what humans did. Asterisk, engage engines, Reed ordered. "Let's go save some lives." The Iron Thunder turned away from Riven's Hope, its drives burning bright as it jumped to hyperspace. Behind it, the Kalari people watched from their colony, waving at the sky dot and across the galaxy in 1,000 different places. Desperate voices sent their signals into the darkness, now daring to hope that someone might actually come. They were right to hope, because humanity's fleet was coming, and they brought fire for those who preyed on the innocent. Asterisk.